Hello, it's me, the brunette Rochacho, or that one guy who doesn't show about Cleopatra in space. Today we have another video. This time we're going to be ranking the top 10 characters I'd like to see return to Death Battle. The rule is that I'm going to try to avoid having characters that have... I'm going to try to avoid specific variations of characters like, oh, I can ask for Thor to return, but I can't ask for Rune King Thor. I can ask for Goku to return, but I can't ask for Xeno Goku. I can ask for Robocop to return, but not Hourglass Robocop. It seems like a pretty simple rule, pretty arbitrary, and I probably will break it at some point, but I'm setting it out going in so we don't just have a ton of variations listed out. Okay, cool. Starting out strong, we have Superman. It's Superman. I don't need to give you an introduction. It's Superman. Why do you need an introduction? Superman is without a doubt the most iconic character of the last 100 years, and he burns both of his episodes of Death Battle on Goku. Now, don't get me wrong, I think one episode with Goku is a very good idea. Goku is a huge, really important character, and he has a legacy match with Superman. However, both of them doesn't make much sense to me, although both episodes are also trash, so I think they should have held off on that until Dragon Ball Super included. Now then, who could Superman fight if he returns? Well, there are some good options, some bad options, and some meh options. Let's go with the bad options first. Bad option number 1, fighting Goku a third time. I don't even think I need to tell you why that is just completely awful. Bad option number 2, fighting against the Sentry. I don't know, I just don't like that. I think people play up the connection between the two way too much. Bad matchup 3, Saitama. I don't think I need to tell you how salty Saitama fanboys can be. Plus, Saitama just got his best episode a week ago, so kind of redundant. Now the meh matchups. There aren't very many of these. It really is just the one I can think of as Ultraman is a meh matchup for me as far as he goes. So, yeah. Although I would like to see Ultraman fight Superman. That would be pretty cool. Now we have the good matchups. There are 2 of these I'd like to talk about. Those are Superman versus Hyperion from Marvel Comics, because if you want a Marvel Superman, that's literally it. And Maiden Line Cookie from Cookie Run Kingdom. I've talked about this in my last video. I'm going to talk about it again, but it's a cookie fighting Superman. What more do you want from me? Paladin good, lawful good. I like it. Now, moving on to the next one. Now then, we come to our next one. And for this one, I'd like to talk about Thor Odinson, the God of Thunder from Marvel Comics. Now, Thor's a really cool character. He's in a lot of my favorite comics. He's in the Red Hulk's run. He's in the Dark Phoenix run. Wait, not the Dark Phoenix run, the Phoenix 5 run. He's not in World War Hulk, unfortunately, but oh well. He's also in the movies. He just looks really cool. He has a really cool design. He's got a hammer, he's got lightning, he's got a helmet, he's got armor. What more do you want? He has really cool hair. And he's just one of the strongest Avengers. Well, I would say he is the strongest Avengers, but he's in the league of Hulk, and then Sentry's stronger than him, but come on. If you're second only to the Hulk and Sentry, you can't really be mad because they're insane. So, yeah. Thor is he's really cool. He's really strong. I'd love to see him on Death Battle again because he already had 2 really bad episodes. I personally think that Wonder Woman vs. Thor was awful, and Raiden vs. Thor wasn't very good either. Just poor production quality, complete stomp. So, I also want to point out who he should fight next. I would like to see him fight Vegeta. So would almost everyone else. They're princes. They have powers. They have god powers. They're really strong. It's a Marvel versus not DC fight, which is always kind of nice. But I would think it would be funny if I fought Cleopatra from Cleopatra in Space. Yeah, that's right. You knew I had to put it in the video somehow. And I actually, for some reason, that's the only matchup Cleopatra has that she actually loses. It has the connections of they both have god powers. They both killed and fought other gods. They both have iconic weapons to them, and they're both figures from mythology or history that would translate into a more modern comic, which is surprisingly thematic now I think about it. Is Thor vs. Cleopatra actually really, really good? Huh. Okay, I'll have to think about that later. Moving on. Alright then. So for the next one, let's talk about Alucard, the protagonist of Hellsing Ultimate. Alucard kind of got done dirty in Dio vs. Alucard. Okay, now, don't get mad. I loved the episode. It was probably my second or third favorite of Season 8. Hello Over Heaven is one of my favorite tracks. Just, I think that they didn't represent Alucard very well, because, like, he busts out level 0, like, immediately. And if he wouldn't have used level 0, he probably could have won the battle. But, that... I don't know. I just don't really... I think they did it that way. I would like to see him again where he doesn't get completely destroyed and stat stomped by some random British vampire. I don't know who could fight. I've heard, like, Hellboy. I've also kind of think maybe Rose Quartz from Steven Universe, as weird as that one is. Or maybe if you have him in his Dracula state, that we saw briefly, he could fight Dark Choco Cookie for the edgiest battle of all time. I really don't know, but I just want to see him again. He seems really cool. I love his design, and just he deserves another episode. Maybe not soon, but at some point down the line, he deserves another. Speaking of edgiest matches of all time, I was planning to do this later, but let's get this one out of the way now. Sasuke. His only episode was Sasuke vs. Hiei, which he got done dirty and really should have won that. I don't know who he should go against, but whoever they do put him against, they should use better scaling for him. Like, instead of putting him in, like, multi-continental, they should put him in solar system level like he deserves off of scaling to Kaguya. I know a lot of people disagree with that. Also, they should have made better use of his, like, his hand capabilities instead of just, like, busting out constant abilities. Because, like, I heard someone compare Sasuke vs. Hiei to, like, if Dio vs. Alucard didn't have all the gunfighting and random just throwing Alucard around and was just like the transformations and big flashy moves, then, like, yeah, it would be awful. However, maybe Kurapika could fight Sasuke, but that's a huge stomp against Kurapika from Hunter x Hunter, you know. But it does have the connections like, you know, Red Eyes, lost their clan, want revenge against a certain group. Oh well. I could have sworn I had more for this one, but I guess not. That's kind of becoming a theme with these, but oh well. Moving on to the next. For the next for the next character, I would like to talk about Ganondorf, the primary villain of the Legend of Zelda series. He's had 2 matchups so far in Death Battle against Bowser and against Dracula. Ganondorf vs. Dracula was really good, however Ganondorf lost. Ganondorf vs. Bowser, Ganondorf won, but it was awful. I don't think anyone thinks that that episode is actually good, because it's not. My personal choice for him is Vilgax, and I've talked about it 250,000 times, so I'm not going to go into detail on that, but yeah. He needs a good episode that is also winnable. At least. Okay, let's get this next one out of the way real quick. Just real quick, Boo, Kid Boo, Fat Boo, Majin Boo, whatever you want. He got done dirty against Kirby. It wasn't a good episode. I didn't like it very much. Moving on. I don't know who should fight. Just throwing out there that he really deserves better. Moving on. Next up for our list is Toph, the blind bandit and strongest earthbender in the world from Avatar: The Last Airbender. Now, in case you didn't know, Toph had only one episode of Death Battle, and it was against Gaara from Naruto. And now, unlike most of the other characters on this list, where the problem is that they got disrespected and downplayed throughout their fight, Toph had the exact opposite problem. She got wanked to high heaven in the fight over a country buster. Logically speaking, she should have been destroyed in that fight, and they completely misinterpreted all her abilities and boiled it down to, oh, she can still see Gaara in the air, and she can manipulate sand, and therefore she wins. No stats, no reasons, nothing. So also knowing that wasn't even her best matchup. Her best matchup was Terra from Teen Titans. Just Toph versus Gaara was really bad, and I don't really want to talk about Gaara, who has Crocodile. Oh well, moving on. Now then, remember how I said we would probably break the rule I said at the beginning? Well, here we are. And that rule is going to be broken for Red from Pokemon. Because instead of talking about the Red they use, which is an arbitrary game version that I don't really think appears very much other than the player character, and I think they should use the manga version of Red, since he is much more developed and doesn't have the stupid meme of never talking. Also, he should be stronger and smarter, given he actually does stuff. and also has feats against Mewtwo and against Deoxys. I also like his personality a lot more than the one they gave Red, and whatever they gave him probably would be a complete and total L. Also, where was Thor? Where was Polly? Where was Gira? Where were all of Red's Pokemon that he never goes anywhere without? Like, I get they use a Charizard a couple times, like he borrows Blues every now and again, but it's not part of his main roster. I don't know, just that always pisses me off. Let's just move on. Okay, so we're 10 minutes in, and I'm just thinking that this video is going to murder my phone's storage if I keep it going much longer, so I'm going to wrap the last two people up pretty quickly. The next person I'd like to talk about is Godzilla, the protagonist of the Godzilla movies, obviously, and probably the most iconic kaiju of all time, who represents nuclear power. Now, Godzilla vs. Gamera was a good episode. No shit against it, and Gamera was Godzilla's best opponent. My problem, however, is the fact that that episode was made on a PlayStation 2. I would like to see Godzilla back in Death Battle, presented in a more modern engine, and properly and not looking janky as all hell. Now, I know that was due to technical limitations, and they were just getting started with Death Battle, and they weren't too great at it yet. But come on, Godzilla should return, and should definitely have a way better looking battle. I don't know who to be against. Hopefully not Eva 01 from Neon Genesis Evangelion, even though that's popular for some reason, even though Mechagodzilla is objectively better for them. I don't know. Someone in the comments will probably tell me, oh, this character is really good for Godzilla, and I'll be like, okay, cool. Yeah, just let me know. Be that guy. Please. Thank you. Moving on. The final character to be put on this list is going to be Robocop from Robocop. Robocop should return, in my opinion, because one, Robocop hasn't been on Death Battle in a long time, and the last one hasn't aged particularly well visually. And two, because Robocop still has to fight Judge Dredd, who is Robocop's best opponent, in my opinion. Also because it would probably make Mr. Clown really happy. You know who you are. Oh well. Thanks for watching, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this episode. I know I had said Merry Christmas at some point, even though this is going to drop the day after Christmas. That's because I recorded it on 2 different days. I expected this to go on Christmas. I don't know why I didn't record it then. But if you made it all the way through the end, please consider liking and subscribing. It would really help me out and really make me happy. Hope to see you next time. If you have any ideas for a future video, just drop them in the comments. That's all I got. See ya.